Yes, and today we're talking about dealing with criticism, and specifically, does your upbringing impact how you view or how critical, non-critical you are? And today, in physical studio with us today, we do have consultant psychologist Linda psychiatrist Linda Nyamute. I really hope I have not butchered that name. It's Nyamute.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So welcome. So what is being a clinical I don't know, I keep confusing psychiatrist and psychologist. Psychiatrist, what is being a consultant psychiatrist?
A consultant psychiatrist basically is a medical doctor who deals with mental health. So both us and the psychologists work together with in the mental health field.
Right.
So the psychiatrists are more medical doctors, the psychologists do more of the talking, the talk therapy.
Right. Okay.
Let's talk about, how people deal with criticism. From your experience, have you met people who are actually very critical towards themselves or other people based on how they grew up or where they come from? Tell us a bit about it.
Yes. Growing up, your upbringing, of course, has a lot to do with how you handle how people talk to you and how you handle negative experiences, how you handle disappointment. And just for example, if you come from a family where every time you do something wrong, it's someone's shouting at you, you're being slapped, you're being hit. When you try to maybe voice something, it's faced with like a lot of negativity, or there's no one to listen. So there's the one where there's no one to listen, there's the one for being probably receiving a negative backlash, and then there's the one which is a bit more positive, which is, okay, tell me what happened, and maybe your parent is ready to listen and talk about it. So of course these individuals, when they grow up, you're developing their personalities throughout the time, the childhood, the adolescent time. By the time they're adults, all this reflects back in how if I meet you now and I tell you, even that lipstick doesn't look nice. If you grew up with a parent who was more supportive, if you go to school and you were bullied and and a child told you that your shoes were not nice, and your parents told you, don't worry about that, do you love your shoes, do you
right, okay.
Compared to one who was brought up, so why didn't you fight? You are a very weak child. If someone tells you this, you should beat them back, you should. So you're always feeling like, okay, am I good enough? So if I tell you your lipstick is not nice,
it should be like, it's nice. It's fine.
Whatever, man. Like whatever, man. Versus someone will be like, oh, they told me my lipstick doesn't look nice.
So it's not nice.
It's not nice. Should I go get another shade? So you're always constantly thinking how to maybe please other people, how to constantly do something because someone else said it, versus believing in yourself and just being firm in what you do, what you say, and what you believe in.
All right. So is it possible to come from a heavily negative criticism kind of, because criticism is not always bad, but if you come from a family where your parents or your siblings criticize you negatively, is it possible for you to come out on the other side, like you don't get affected by it?
Yes, it is possible, because at the end of the day, personalities are not completely influenced by just one thing. So it's influenced by every environment that you're in. So your home environment, of course, plays the bigger part, because that's where you are constantly more compared to school. But if your school environment is positive, it can also influence you in a positive manner. And children's, adolescents' brains are still very malleable, so you can shape them very easily. So also it will depend on the character of the child. There are kids who are just naturally loud, playful. There are kids who are naturally anxious. There are kids who are natural. So it also depends on that sort of personality that the child has. But yes, different environments. As long as this child doesn't stay with the parents 24/7, there's another environment which
they can be influenced by another environment.
But let me ask you, most of the time people say the more we grow up, the older we get, we tend to be less critical towards ourselves and towards situations. We're not really affected by what anyone has to say. We don't really care about their opinions. Is it a true thing, or have you also met, guys who are probably quite old and they're still, having those two issues, have a kule based on other people's opinions or critics, perhaps?
Yes. I think at the end of the day, it still goes back to personality. Your personality is influenced slowly and slowly. You don't see it coming, but at the end of the day, like if you look back who you are when you were 19, who you are when you were just starting adulthood, you're starting campus, and then now when you look at who you are when you're 40, they're very different people, and based on the experiences that you've been through life. So there are people who take the experiences that they have been through either to have a negative outlook on the world, to be very critical. There are people who take the experiences, and you know those people who you meet and you're like, wow, this person has been through so much, but they're still so positive. Why? And then you'll find someone who's had everything, and people are like, you have
so
literally everything, but they're so negative, they still want more, they still look at life, they're not satisfied. So it's based on the experiences that you've been through and how you've responded to those experiences, also your social support network and how your friends bring the kind of conversations you bring in with your friends also influences a lot. So you'll find it's not, you know, even how they say when you grow old, you grow wiser. Not everyone.
Some people they are left behind.
Yes. There are people who just are left behind. That's it. That's it.
So real quick before we close, I'm sure there are a few people who their minds have already been molded in a negative way. So is there something or like some exercises that they can do at home, like affirmations? Do affirmations work for them to now start looking at themselves better, looking at the world in a better way?
Yes, affirmations do work. I'll go back to something that I really like talking about, which is self-love. So there are different types of love languages, as we talked about, or self-loving. So affirmations is one of them, and that's for people. So you need, first of all, I think the first step is being self-aware. You need to know which love language works for you. Okay, by that, let me just, there are 5. There's the quality time. So that's things for self-love. That would be things like going to the spa, maybe taking yourself out. There's
physical touch.
So you probably will meet someone. I mean, if you feel like you need physical touch, just meet your friend, tell them, I really need a hug. Yes, that would work. There's also acts of service. So maybe helping people. There are people who find joy in helping other people. So maybe volunteering somewhere, that may work for you. There's gifts. So you can go buy yourself and spoil yourself with whatever shopping. And then the last one,
words of affirmation.
Yes, so words of affirmation. So there are people who talking to themselves, looking at yourself every day and reminding yourself, you're strong, you're beautiful, you are worthy. Don't let the world change who you are. So first, you need to know yourself, because words of affirmation, if your primary love language is not that, it may not work for you. But if that is it, then it will definitely go a long way.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Linda. I feel like it's nice to call you Dr. Linda. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes,
we're looking forward to more. But guys, we need to take a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.